Welcome back, everybody. My name is Dragagan, and this is Gregtech New Horizons. Now, there was a couple month-long break. You guys won't have noticed because that was a few episodes ago. I actually had some pre-recorded videos and never posted them, and then I took a couple of months off. I had a lot of things going on, and just now started getting back into playing. I was doing a little bit on my own and thought I'd bring you all in here to see what I had done since then. So one of the things I've been working on is in my magic book, and in the magic book I have like the gold wand caps now. I have done a bit more research on the basic information tab. I've gone ahead and gone down the advanced node tapping, node preserver, deconstruction table, the research mastery. In addition to that, I was down in Thaumic bases, and I went ahead and I did the primal shrooms and then made a couple. I've got about 4 of them sitting outside because I think that's what the quest wanted, was 4 of them. I went ahead and did the fluxium and the glionia. In addition to that, I did the metal eat, which unlocks the redlon, and so getting the redlon was a big thing. The redlon plant, when it grows, gives you blocks of redstone, a lot like a melon or pumpkin grows, and so I can now get blocks of redstone. That makes it extremely helpful for centrifuging out some chrome. So I went and got that. I used to have this block right here designates where I used to have my cauldron, and instead, because of flux reasons, I moved it back here, and you can see I have a small setup of torches. The torches are very handy because now I can throw stuff into my cauldron, and then when I have the leftover stuff and I have my wand and I shift right click and I clear out the cauldron, no flux gas can go up, no liquid can go out and all over the place. It basically keeps this nice and clean. I do have it hidden away back in this corner, but that's where that is. I've also been doing a little bit of work with the research table and the arcane workbench. These are all of my research notes I still want to deal with: the Great Wood Wand Core, Blood Altar, Witchery Oven, Anointing Paste. So this will get me into witchery, that'll get me into blood magic. Couple of things with the bees, the magic bees type stuff, and then I have unlocked the Essentia distillation under, I believe that's alchemy. Yeah, because I went through and I got the niter and the elementum, so now I'm at Essentia distillation. I've done the Thaumcraft. If I go ahead and open up my quest book real quick and run down to my novice Thermitage, I think I had all the way up to here unlocked before, but I kind of stopped after this one right here. I didn't have the shards, and I didn't have the niter and the elementum or the primal shrooms. So I got the primal shrooms, I got the umber, or what is that one called? Yeah, the umbral rose bush. I did the amber, I did the niter and elementum, and then I went ahead down here and did the thaumium, the balance shards, and then the crystal clusters. And so now I'm over here to the Essentia cooking, the Essentia filtering, don't know about lighted up, and then the gold wand. And then I have researched the brewing stand, which is why I can click it and see a recipe for it, but I haven't tried to make it yet because all of my aluminum is currently going towards my machines. Let me go ahead and sleep real quick, and then I'll bring you down to show you what's been going on with the machines. I'm slowly clearing these guys out. I have a miner that is currently, it's probably offline because I just started up the world and I haven't been over to my Twilight Forest. I've got a personal anchor that I created, and I filled it with with just the one pearl so that it would run for 4 hours. And right now I have it on a patch of the sapphire, this stuff right here. I'm getting the sapphire ore, the green sapphire ore, the almandine, and then it's not rock salt, I think it's pyrope. Anyway, there's a fourth ore that comes with those guys. If I grab this real quick, it'll probably tell me. Let's see. Go with R, and it comes with almandine, yeah, pyrope, sapphire, and green sapphire. I have it on those right now because, actually, if we take a look at the uses for almandine, once you've crushed it, it gives you aluminum, iron, silicon, and oxygen. And so I can hammer it and I can wash it, and then once I have this, I can slap it in an electrolyzer and get some aluminum, which I need. I can get some silicon, which I'm not so hard up for right now, and right now I am really looking at the oxygen, and I'll show you why in just a moment. If I come down here, all the same stuff. Not really a whole lot has changed here, with the exception of this guy. I have created an advanced mixer, as well as the medium lithium batteries, and the reason for that is because right up in here I have stainless steel. I've got the bronze plated bricks. I created the advanced distillery, which means that I can now make diesel fuel. I've created some advanced combustion generators so that I can get some MV out of that. I've got an advanced cutting machine, which you need in order to make the wafers that you need for a bunch of other stuff, in addition to the precision laser engraver. So lots of stuff there. The MV energy hatches are actually for this guy over here, my EBF, to upgrade him to MV. So that will be handy. Nothing else really here, but if I go upstairs, let's take a look upstairs real quick. So you guys saw this mess. I haven't really added to it too much. I've done a couple more of the ores that I've found spots for, especially up here. This one extracts out and goes into the hammer and then the simple washer just to get dusts out. You can see I moved my thirsty tank up here so that I get water to this washer, and the simple washer in order to start those things. There's my other advanced combustion generator with some light fuel in it at the moment, and then a transformer to make it into 4 amp low voltage and run it around each of these guys down here. So that's everything I've done here. I've also got 2 chemical baths. One will be for mercury, the other will be for the sodium persulfate. Those are important for getting some of the more rare materials, such as I believe the important one for me here real soon is nickel in mercury, in order to, I think that gets, I think it gets me platinum. Let's take a look real quick. So mercury, and there's that. The uses for it in the chemical bath. Oh, there's a lot of stuff for the chemical bath. Let's see. It would probably be easier just to then look up nickel and take a look at the nickel ore to, nope, not nickel dust. Crushed nickel ore. In the chemical bath, no, that just gives me nickel dust. Ah, yeah, mercury, just like I thought. In the mercury bath, the crushed nickel ore, I have a 70% chance to get some platinum, and the platinum I really would like to have in order to work on the circuits. On my map, I've been marking different things with the X's here and there because this one is a chalcopyrite, so I've been mining that up in order to get more copper. The biggest thing with the copper was trying to get more for making those bronze bricks. And that giant set of bronze bricks is actually in here for my multi-block goals. Trying to get my Pyrolyze oven casings. Those require the 4 steel to 2 iron. I was really hoping this hadn't changed. Some of the earlier versions it was 4 iron and 2 steel, and they've switched it around to 4 steel and 2 iron, plus those bronze plated bricks, which are 6 bronze plates around a brick. block, and so that gets real expensive on your copper, which is again why I was using this mess up here. I have copper ore down here, I've got chalcopyrite here, so I was burning through a lot of that. Only a little bit of the tin, just trying to get these guys up and running. Nothing else is really going on. That's been my focus right now, is trying to get this Pyrolyze oven up and running so that I can tear down all 12 of these coke ovens and still be able to run my creosote and my I have coal coming out of the coke ovens. The coal comes into this guy, gets compressed for that free extra coal, and then gets sent over here to this guy so that it can burn it and make a giant pile of steam. And then when the creosote oven fills up, I turn on the liquid boiler and double up my steam. I really should make better use of it. I don't have MV steam engines or large enough pipes right now to deal with MV for steam. There you can see the output spot of my EBF. So yeah, that is pretty much what has been going on. Not a whole lot of changes there. If we take a look here, you can see all the quests that I have done. I did the I electrolyzed clay in order to get the silicon. I did the monocrystalline silicon in order to get the boule, made the wafers, made the precision laser, and now I'm down to stuff like the system on a chip and the ILC and RAM in order to improve how much, in order to improve how easy it is to make the chips. I did the item transfer and the fluid item transfer. That made it a little bit easier to get stuff out of tanks and into machines whenever I needed the anything along the lines of, like, say, the soldering alloy or any of those kind of things. Made the battery buffers, which gave me access to the batteries just to knock those quests out. There you can see my mixer and my stainless steel that I went ahead and did, which does tell you I can now make the diesel fuel. And I need to upgrade my EBF. Well, I say upgrade. I need to make it MV. I need to use those MV things in order to get those guys up and running. And then I've done a little bit more with, like, the sodium hydroxide. Haven't gone to the biodiesel yet. Still working on getting enough steel to make the Fish Catcher 2.0 quest. This guy over here, Fish Trapping 2.0, making about 24 of those in order to work on the fish part of biodiesel, making fish oil. I built my first farm, but all I've done so far is complete the quest. I haven't made the control block, the hatch, the valve, or the gearbox, so I haven't been able to put together the farm yet in order to get peanuts going for the seed oil version. So there is that. But I do have, like, the plastic and stuff going on, and so things are coming along pretty well, I think. Have not gone into You're Gonna Hate This number 4. The one other thing I am working on is the auto miner. The auto miner, I've got everything I need with the exception of this sensor right here. The sensor is the hard part because of the flawless emerald, so I am currently looking around the nether manually because I haven't dug down and found an emerald ore and then had a silk touch pickaxe with me in order to get just the emerald ore in order to run around. So I've been running around in the nether, digging around the 20 height mark, trying to find some emerald. So that'll be interesting, trying to get that. But that's pretty much where I'm at. There you can see my little Steve cart going. I had to turn him off several times because he fills up the one box I have those pipes going into. Eventually I'd like to take this down and just convert that into a into the farm. Yeah, the forestry farm. We'll see if that happens or not. Yeah, things are coming along quite nice. The next things I'm working on, like I say, are getting diesel. The oil is very nice, but you have to have that MV mixer to mix the light and heavy fuels into diesel itself. And so that's what this whole setup is. I was using this to convert the oil to light sulfuric light fuel, and then converting that to regular light fuel, and then the steam and stuff here was for cracking a little bit of the light fuel in order to make the ethylene, in order to get that polyethylene rubber quest done. So yeah, a few things. I'll probably pick these guys up. I haven't decided where I want to put them. This, as you can see, if I didn't explain it previously, it is a way of getting hydrogen from an electrolyzer to electrolyze water. Then you electrolyze that and get the oxygen, which is over here, and the hydrogen. And then if you have a compressor, you can compress empty cells to get the canned air, and then you can spit out nitrogen and oxygen cells, and then trying to loop it all around and keep it running nonstop with just some basic combustion generators. So yeah, that's about as far as I've gotten recently. I am looking forward to picking this back up, especially when it comes to breaking down all of this stuff, getting some more oxygen, getting a ton of steel, and then continuing on with some of these quests, trying to get like, for instance, the advanced chemical reactor. Once I get a robot arm done, there's the quest for the advanced assembling machine, and just in general getting those things, and then eventually coming over here and starting to take a look at the Ender IO. I need to get a way of getting Ender pearls, and I'm not sure that I can make a powered spawner. The powered spawner is probably out of my reach right now. It needs a machine chassis, solarium, and dark steel plates. Those I can make. And the basic capacitors. That's where stuff is going to get hairy, because you need the tantalum and manganese, which is going to come from breaking down some of those other materials, and then the molten polyethylene in order to make these basic capacitors. Steel casing, electrical steel, those aren't too much of a problem. The solarium is probably the worst of it, just because solarium is solarium dust in the blast furnace, and solarium dust is soul sand, gold, and some ash in order to make that. So that's not terrible, but that's not exactly great either. So that'll be something to maybe look forward to in future videos, is actually working on getting some solarium, and that way I can also get the powered spawner. And then what's the last thing? The last thing I need are those soul vials, and those are probably pretty vile as well. Soul vial, 3 fused quartz plus a solarium round. Oh, a solarium round, that's not bad. That's like, I can get those pretty easily, I think. The lathe wants a nugget. The nugget I can get from fluid solidifier. Yeah, there we go. So like the alloy smelter can do it pretty quickly, just to get me 1 to 9 on the nuggets, and then lathe those down into rounds. The fused quartz isn't too bad. It just wants, yeah, Certus quartz, nether quartz, and glass, or nether and glass, or Certus and glass. So just some of the nether quartz stuff plus some regular glass, and I can get some fused quartz, and then all 3 of those can go into those soul vials. But as you can see, it requires an MV assembler just to make it. I don't think I can, yeah, I can't make it by hand. So yeah, everything is coming down to that MV level now, and I'm just gonna have to keep on cracking. It did take me a few hours, having a couple of months off from playing the game. It did take me a couple hours to figure out where I wanted to progress next. So I will probably bring you back in once I'm a little bit closer to that Pyrolyze oven and starting to tear down those coke ovens over there, and I may even be rearranging. I do like the building, but the having to climb upstairs every single time in order to grind all of my materials and then bring them back down, that's getting real obnoxious. So I'm actually looking at clearing out some land and seeing what I can do with some more land being cleared out. Yeah, so looking forward to those. So goals right now: Pyrolyze oven, getting diesel fuel stood up and get some more generators for that, and then starting to take a look at like a good miner for the 33 by 33 square block. That's effectively 2 chunks plus 1 block across. So a chunk and a half and a chunk and a half. It makes for a nice, right? No, that's still only a 2 by 2. So I can start setting stuff up to get a little bit better on the radius there. So yeah, look forward to bringing you guys back in when I get there. Alrighty, I am back again, and as you can see, I finally have, along with my 66 bronze-plated bricks, I now have 2 stacks plus 4 of the iron plates, and 4 stacks plus 8 of the steel plates that I need in order to make my Pyrolyze oven casings. Fortunately, I can do it inside the assembler, so it's not that big a deal. I really hate trying to waste hammers and wrenches and stuff when I can just come over here and slap in a stack of plates and a stack of those things and just let it go to town. One of the other nice things is that I can fill this thing multiple times, and as long as the items are the same, it usually continues on. So let's say I do that, and then like that, and that, and that. It should continue to make the Pyrolyze oven casings. Yeah, so there it goes. So I just let this sit here for a little while and build all 66 of those. Unfortunately, I do not have, well, I do have the integrated circuits, but I'm currently waiting to make my good miner with them, as well as one more to make this sensor, and that's where I need that flawless emerald. In the meantime, I did also go ahead and get all the materials for, and it's nighttime outside. Sleep real quick so I don't have mobs running amok. Even though they can't get into my area, I still don't even want them close. Over here, I have created the parts that I needed in order to make my gold caps for my wands. So let's go ahead and get this guy plugged in here. It's going to cost me, I can only do this once because it uses up almost all of the capacity in my wand. So as I'm playing, I'm just going to have to come through here, and there you can see my umbral rose along with all of the umbral roses that it produces, just so that I have plenty of ink. So there we go, collect those guys up, slap them down and let them grow some more. So yeah, 13, 15, and 8. So it'll be a little while for me to get those up and running. There's some of the nether gardens that I need for one of the quests, and there you can see the few red lawns that I've got just kind of chilling out here. So I come out once in a while and make sure that I harvest them up so they can continue to grow. Portal to the Twilight Forest. One thing I did want to mention is in order to get all the oxygen I needed in order to make all of these things, what I decided to use was, let me just come up here. I can show you real quick. I decided to use 2 different materials. Hopefully that's not too loud. I decided to use pyrope and almandine, because if I grab one of each of these, and then I almost was going to use some spessartine, and I probably should later. So the almandine, as you can see, is aluminum, iron, silicon, and 12 oxygen. So if you take this all the way through to, say, oops, well, either electrolyzer, I can get 2 aluminum, 3 iron, 3 silicon, and 12 oxygen out of 20 of these things. So I did that for a little while because that gave me a little bit of aluminum, which I can always use more of. It gave me a little bit of iron and more silicon dust, which I will be increasingly using. The other thing that I was using was the Pyrope, because that one, as you can see, gives me aluminum, magnesium, silicon, and oxygen. The magnesium is not immediately useful. The reason I'm holding on to the magnesium is because if we follow it to its end, the magnesium is actually used along with let's see here. Where is it? There was some, oh, right. In the brewing machine. No, not the brewing machine. Where is it? Oh, right here. In the blast furnace, 2 magnesium along with this titanium tetrachloride will get you hot titanium ingots, which is for much, much later. And then it also gives some magnesium chloride, which you can re-break down to get the magnesium and the chloride, I'm guessing, to make more of the titanium tetrachloride. I'm not sure yet. I haven't followed this recipe path very long, but I do know that I will need at least some magnesium so that I can make the titanium ingots. So that's useful. The last one that I considered using, and I probably should, is this guy right here, the Spassertine ore, because as you can see with that one, it gives 2 aluminum, 3 magnesium, or sorry, 3 that's not magnesium, that is manganese? I believe that's manganese. And the manganese is useful in our wonderful stainless steel, which I need for getting into high voltage and that kind of stuff. So collecting the manganese really helps with that. The nickel dust is pretty easy to get just out of the nickel ore from over in the Twilight Forest. And then lastly, this chrome dust. And like I was saying, it's the Redlon that I was using. So if we take a look at redstone, and if we go to the centrifuge on redstone, it gives you some silicon, it gives you some pyrite dust, which is pretty much just iron, some mercury, which is useful for the chemical baths, and then it gives you ruby dust. And the ruby dust is where it's nice because the ruby dust can then 6 at a time electrolyze, and you'll get 1 chrome, a little bit of aluminum, and a little bit of oxygen. So you're getting the chrome that you'll need for more stainless steel, more aluminum, and of course more oxygen, which I apparently need just a ton of in order to continue to build stuff that requires steel. So yeah, that was what I got done there. You'll see some of the parts in here. I have some of the parts, I basically have all the parts with the exception of that flawless emerald in order to build that good miner. I've got my hull, my 2 pistons, my motor, the aluminum plates and the electrum rod. 3 of these 4 good circuits will go into making that, and so yeah, that's where my next aim is in getting that stuff done. So you can see this middle guy right here, looking at how things break down with these 3 ores. I just want it to go through a thermal centrifuge, and then its outputs will be coming back here for some other stuff that I have going on a little later on. But I believe the almandine gets me a little bit of aluminum, and these other 2 guys get me their other middle products, the manganese and the magnesium. And so getting both of those will be key going forward, so I figure I'll just thermal it, not worry about ore washing it, because the ore washing gets me just aluminum for the couple of them. So yeah, looking forward to moving on with those. Thanks for joining me today. I look forward to the next video in the near future. Till then.